Hello, everybody. My name is Larry Marlow, and I'm 25 years old. I am currently a full-time student at Schoolcraft. I am also a full-time employee as a metallurgical lab technician. I'm taking this class because I am trying to fulfill my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. I plan on going to Wayne State next semester if everything works out good. The only reason I'm actually at Schoolcraft is to fulfill my articulation agreement. And this 116 class is one class I do need to fulfill that. So that is one reason why I'm taking this class. And at first, that was probably the only reason. But starting off, I've started reading the book and I've done these assignments, and I have started to gain some knowledge on how this can actually help me as is in my field. For one, I do a lot of lab reports, and I believe that what I've learned now is how to actually take some of this analytical information I have and to use it more for the reader and not just fill up the page or anything like that, but to actually get that information that they need to them in a fast and direct way. A lot of the times I kind of wanted to write a large paper, and maybe that wasn't the best thing. Now I know that it's not about how big the paper is, but what information I give to the reader. Another thing is I believe that this class can help me with my communication skills and becoming better at my interviews. I believe that I will be able to better operate what employers would like to see out of me and how I can get a job in the field I am looking for. And one thing I noticed already is the NACE video that we watched had a lot of great information on what employers are looking for. I believe out of all the elements, they touched on pretty much all of them, if not all of them. And the one that I think that hit me the most, and the one that I saw happening, or I saw them focusing the most on, is the interaction and adaptation. Melissa, the first lady that was talking, the first thing she said was about attitude. And I believe that your attitude can be given off by visual body language, but it also can be given off by what you say or how you interact with people. So I believe those tie in basically hand in hand right there. The way you interact with the person hiring in or just on an everyday basis will give you a perception, or give them a perception on your attitude. And then the gentleman following her actually talked about your first impressions. He wants you to come up, shake his hand, and he wants to know that you want the job and basically that you know what you're talking about. So that was kind of what I was getting from them, is that you got to be able to adapt to what you're trying to get into and to interact with these people in a large way. I mean, teamwork was another big thing I believe they hit on, because with interaction, you're going to have to interact with your teammates, fellow colleagues. I mean, pretty much everything you do nowadays has teamwork to it. So that was hit, but like I said, I believe the element that was hit the most was that interaction and adaptation. I mean, following further in the video, they talked about the resume and how you wanted to have a strong resume, and basically the resume was a written form of showing who you are and letting them know who you are before you actually meet with the people. So what I get from that is that, I mean, your resume is a written version of interaction, is basically your pre-interview. You know, if you can't communicate a good resume to these people, you're not going to get past them. You're not going to get that phone interview. You're not going to get that formal interview. So like they said, having a strong resume was very good, and use those research skills to actually form a good interaction. And that was another thing, is I don't think the research tied directly to interaction and adaptation, but in a sense that if you didn't do your research, you don't know how to adapt to talk with these people. You don't know how to interact with these people. So I believe that does tie in. I mean, like I said, my main element that I took from this was the interaction and adaptation. Everything else, there was, like I said, the visual. They talked about presentation, how you looked, how your attitude was. That can be taken as a visual conception. Also ethics, basically doing the right thing in front of the customer to get customers to like you. You have to, there's basically a lot there that they talked about in that short little video, but I believe they did cover all 6 elements, which leads me now to the company we had to basically do some research on. I chose Olympus. Being a lab technician, I have to work with cameras and microscopes, and I kind of searched their page and looked at the history and about them. And the main thing that they wanted to get through is that they were innovating cameras, technology, that they were a lot based on the analytical, technical. I mean, they have some forms of communication, but the main thing was the analytical and technical. That was what I saw from them, is because they are mainly looking for cameras, microscopes, anything of that nature. And I found they used the word teamwork a lot. They basically had a team this, team that, talking about how their team is innovating to make better cameras, microscopes, how their products are being used in everyday photography, to medical use when they're practicing surgeries, or just life science, things that need to be looked at under a microscope. I believe that they hit that pretty hard. They have their own little page on ethics and what they personally do to try to give the customer the best. And I believe that they did a lot to show you kind of clues that you need, things that you need to know about them, and things that you will need to pursue a career there. And they hit on a lot of elements, and they hit the most on being analytical and technical, I think. And in conclusion, I can tell you that this class is going to help out a lot, and I hope to learn a lot from it. Thanks. Bye.